Hello and welcome to Module 2 of Emotional Intelligence Management. In this module, we shall be discussing self-awareness. That is the foundation of emotional intelligence and personal growth. By the end of this study, students will be able to define self-awareness and its types, identify the dimension and tools for building self-awareness, recognize the emotional triggers and common barriers. Students will also be able to understand the personal and professional importance of self-awareness. The module content includes the definition and types of self-awareness, dimension of self-awareness, tools and techniques for building self-awareness, identifying emotion and emotional triggers. Then we will look at barriers to self-awareness and the importance of self-awareness before we now draw our conclusion. Let's begin with the introduction. Self-awareness is one of the fundamental pillars of personal growth, emotional intelligence, and effective interpersonal relationship. It involves understanding one's own inner world, thought, emotion, motives, and behavioral patterns, as well as recognizing how these internal states influence external action. At its core, self-awareness helps an individual answer fundamental questions such as who am I? Why do I think and feel the way I do? How do my actions affect others? What are my strengths and areas for improvement? Self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth, emotional intelligence, and effective interpersonal relationship. Developing self-awareness is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process that involves an individual's encounter new experience and challenges. It requires curiosity, openness, and the willingness to look inward, even when what we find may be uncomfortable. In essence, self-awareness empowers individuals to move through life within intentionality rather than reacting automatically. It opens the door to personal mastery, growth, and meaningful connection with others, making it one of the most essential skills for emotional and psychological well-being. Let us look at the definition of self-awareness. Definition: self-awareness, the conscious understanding of one's own internal state, that is your thought, emotion, value, and motives, and how they influence behaviors and impact in others. So self-awareness simply means the ability to understand your own emotion and emotion in other people and how your own emotion influences other people's emotion. It answers fundamental questions such as who am I? Why do I think and feel this way? How do my actions affect others? What are my strengths and areas for growth? Core insight: it is a continuous process of introspection, curiosity, and openness essential for living intentionally rather than reactively. The foundation types of self-awareness are internal, that is private self-awareness, that is understanding your inner world, that is internal, otherwise known as private self-awareness. It answers questions like what am I feeling? Why do I react this way? It leads to better emotional regulation and personal well-being. Now we have external, that is public self-awareness, understanding how others perceive you. That is the outer world. How do people see your own? How do people see you? That is your reputation, social impact, others' reaction. It answers questions like how do people see me? How does my behavior affect them? It enhances empathy, communication, and relationship building. Other types include situational, social, and personal self-awareness build upon these two types. Let us look at the dimension of self-awareness. It is the multidimensional view of understanding oneself. It includes emotional awareness, that is recognizing and naming your own emotion, accurate self-assessment, that is honest evaluation of strength and weakness within oneself, self-confidence, being realistic belief in your ability. It also involves value and belief awareness, knowing your guiding principle, behavioral awareness, which involves recognizing your action, pattern and their impact. Then social and interpersonal awareness, which involves empathy and understanding social dynamics. Together, these form a comprehensive self-awareness. Let us look at basic tools and technology for building self-awareness. Part 1. The following tools are necessary for building self-awareness. Number 1, reflection and journalism. This involves daily checks-in, prompt-based writing, mode tracking. It involves inner reflection of oneself so as to know your own emotion. Then number 2 is mindfulness and meditation, which involve breath work, body scan, grounding exercises. It cultivates present moment awareness and emotional clarity. Number 3 is feedback-based approach. This involves the use of 360-degree feedback, accountability pattern, asking better questions. It reviews blind spots and strengthens external awareness. So these are some of the tools used in building self-awareness. Then number 4, that is tools and techniques for building self-awareness. Number 4 is personality and self-assessment tool, which involve validated assessment like the use of Big Five, MTB, strength, innovative. It provides structured insight into threats and tendencies. Then we can use coaching and counseling, which involve using external coaching to guide one's emotion, like professional guidance to explore deep-seated pattern and belief. Then we have number 6, behavior and habit tracking. That is monitoring reaction, situational observation, goal setting with views, which links behavior to other outcomes for consistent improvement. Now let us look at identifying emotion and emotion trigger. How can you identify emotion? Number 1 is skill, which involve noticing, naming, and understanding feeling in the moment. That is, you have the skill to notice, name, and understand your own feeling. Then use an expanded emotional vocabulary beyond pain and stress. So use emotional vocabulary, which involves how to communicate your own emotion without offending others. Recognizing physical cues like tension, sweating, and behavioral signs. Then common emotion categories include happiness. Emotion can be in form of happiness, sadness, anger, fear, or surprise. These are typology of emotions. Now let us look at understanding emotion trigger. What is emotion trigger? It is a stimulus, whether internal or external, that spark a strong, often automatic emotional reaction linked to past experience or met needs. So it is a stimulus that sparks up emotion. Common type of emotion could be a stress trigger, which is emotion related to stress, like workload, time pressure, and conflict. Interpersonal trigger, like criticism, rejection, perceived disrespect. So interpersonal, once somebody is being criticized, rejected, or disrespected by others, it can trigger an emotion. We have another trigger, which is environmental trigger, like noise, crowd, and discomfort, which can trigger emotion in an individual. We have personal trigger like past memories and past experiences like an insecurity. It can trigger an emotion in oneself. We have social trigger like social comparison, perceived judgment. Once identified, trigger can be managed through regulation techniques and reframing. Now let us look at barriers to self-awareness. Obstacles that makes honest self-understanding difficult include internal barrier, limited emotional vocabulary, fear of discomfort, automatic reaction, cognitive biases, and overthinking constitute an internal barrier to self-awareness. Now we have external barrier such as lack of honest feedback, social and cultural conditioning, busy and distracting environment, toxic relationship can spark off barriers to emotional self-awareness. Past experience like trauma, learned emotional suppression, internalizing limiting belief can also constitute a hindrance to self-awareness. Awareness of this barrier is the first step to overcoming them. Now let us look at the importance of self-awareness. Why it matters, the key benefits. Why is self-awareness very much important? One, emotional and cognitive. Better emotional regulation and reduce stress. So once you have a cognitive knowledge of self-awareness, it can help you regulate emotion, which will in turn help to reduce stress. It also helps to improve decision making and clear personal identity. Another important area is in terms of relationship. It contribute to healthier communication, increased empathy and stronger relationship building. Then in the area of professionalism, it enhance performances, stronger leadership and more effective teamwork. Therefore, self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal mastery and professional effectiveness. In conclusion, self-awareness is the bedrock of emotional intelligence and intentional living. It involves both internal understanding and external perception. It can be developed through practical tools like journaling, mindfulness, and feedback. It requires identifying emotion and emotion triggers to move from reaction to response. Overcoming barriers unlock profound personal and professional growth. A lifelong journey leading to greater clarity, resilience, and meaningful connection. This is what self-awareness can help us to achieve. Thank you and God bless you.